All right. Welcome to another episode of the Real House Husbands of Fantasy Football. So we are going to switch it up here a little bit. Dustin and Rim will be back next week for our week 1 episode, but the much anticipated, the much talked about, the Draft King himself, we have DaChronic, aka Justin. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, Atik. Super happy to finally be here.
Yeah, my man, I'm glad to have you. I've learned so much from you this year. You definitely dominated every single draft I've been in with you. So glad to have you on, my man.
That is high praise. I appreciate it. I like to hustle and draft a lot, so I'm glad it's given some good vibes, anyways. So,
so tell us a little bit about yourself, Justin. Where are you from?
I'm from Minnesota originally. I got the purple rock in here, wearing my old AP jersey here. So I've been a Vikings fan and a Packer hater ever since I was probably 8-9 years old. I got old home videos of me running around yelling about the purple. So yeah, big Vikings fan. I live out in Colorado now, though. Love Colorado, love the mountains, climbing mountains, snowboarding, all that good stuff. Broncos were my second favorite team too, so closer to them, even though they're kind of terrible nowadays. But yeah, just kind of living the life. COVID year kind of spun my life upside down, but ended up in a really, really good place, and things ended up kind of in a beautiful direction for me. So I'm embracing life every day. Fantasy football is my favorite hobby by far. I can't get enough of it. I'm commissioning probably 12 to 15 leagues right now. I'm in probably about 25. Run some best ball stuff. Just love the game. Love to run leagues. Love to play in leagues. This is my shit. I love it.
That's dope. That's dope. So I heard you say you're in Colorado now. I got to give some love to Colorado. I worked out there for a few years, and man, I fucking love that place. So
hey, if life ever brings you back, I'd be happy for you. It's a beautiful place. I love it here. So
yeah, one of my daughters was born out there, and I keep telling my wife I'm gonna take the family out there. So We'll definitely link up. It'll be next year. So
Oh yeah.
I heard you talk about all the different leagues you were in, Justin. So you are kind of like the expert. People come to you say, "Hey, what's an auction draft or what's this type of league?" And I know you got me in my first best ball league. So tell me a little bit about the different type of leagues you're in and what's your favorite ones.
Well, I've kind of metamorphosized from I think 2016 or 17 when I started. We did half PPR, two wide receivers, no tight end premium, super flex though. Super flex is a must, I guess, for me. I guess that's where I've started off my base. I don't really do anything without super flex, other than maybe a redraft here and there, but I don't even do too much redraft anymore, to be honest. Um, my ideal dynasty league, and dynasty is my format really. I mean, I'll get into some devy leagues. I got a few that have some
Agreed.
devy aspects, but it's got to be dynasty. It's got to be year round. I think my redraft exposure now is down to one work league and a couple of guillotine leagues. I do love the guillotine leagues for the redraft purposes. That's my really my only redraft format I'm that interested in now. But they're a blast, where that worst team gets cut every week, and you got great players on waivers every week. A lot of different strategy there. So big fan of those. But as far as dynasty goes, really getting into IDP in the last couple of years. So I'd say my ideal leagues now would have to have some IDP concept in it. My IDP scoring is usually a little bit different than a lot of other people's. I try not to nerf it where offense is way more important, but I also don't like to give the tackle monsters quite as much leverage as some of the IDP leagues do. So I like to give big plays, sacks, interceptions like that, stuff like that, a lot more weight. I also moved more to full PPR, three wide receivers. Uh, Tight end premium is a must nowadays too. If I start a new league, I like having a lot of flex spots. I like starting more players, having less on the bench. That's definitely something I enjoy. And I do like really deep benches. When I do my leagues, not that I mind playing in leagues with taxis and IR, but I kind of just like having a really thick bench, and just kind of letting everybody play off of that. When I commissioning so many leagues, it simplifies things a little bit too, when you don't have to play around with some of that extra stuff. But I also, I guess I got to mention a couple of my favorite leagues that I've started the last couple of years. Some relegation leagues. They're actually 20 team, one copy, but we do two
Jesus.
divisions. Yeah, yeah. So they get really thin. I've got one that's just straight offense, and then the one I did this year is IDP included. So that's really deep, and they both have Devi included too. So this shit is deep, and the best teams in the opening year, the best 10 teams go into the winning money division. The bottom 10 teams go into a relegation division, and four teams from each division swap out every year. So kind of that soccer style thing. So those are really fun. I'm kind of just getting into the second year in one of them and just the startup year in the other. So really excited to see how those take off. But yeah, got a great network of people and always got a lot of people excited to join new leagues. So it's awesome.
One thing that I love about the guests that come on the pod, you guys show how committed we are to fantasy football, man. Sometimes I'll talk to everybody loves fantasy football, but there's levels to it, and each time a guest comes on, you guys keep showing the different levels to it. You were talking over my head with some of that stuff, man. Like
Yeah.
that's how deep you are.
Nice.
But
You'll get there,
that's
buddy.
that's pretty dope, man. That's pretty
I'll
dope.
drag you deeper if I can help it. So
Between you and your boy Casey, y'all just keep dragging me under, and I'm like willingly going. I mean, goofy me, man.
I hear you. It's like the sirens in the ocean. It's how can you resist that beautiful music?
Exactly. It's my favorite hobby, like you said. All right, so let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. So
Sir.
the season's opening tonight. So, you know, happy football. Happy football, everybody.
Woo!
Let's start off with some NFL projections, my man. So, what do you have for this year? Who do you have as your passing leaders, rushing leaders, touchdown leaders? What you got?
Uh, I, my passing leader, it might be kind of a homer pick, but I'm actually going to go Kirk Cousins.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah, maybe a little bit of a bold pick, but their defense is so bad. Uh, they're going to be behind a lot, I think. The offense is great. I do think the running game is going to be okay. Madison's a solid player. Ty Chandler's a good backup. I think they've got enough to be uh, solid in the running game. The offensive line has improved. I, being a Vikings fan though, don't have any faith in the defense quite yet. I think they're another year or two away from really being respectable. So I just think they're going to be behind and throwing the ball a lot. There's some pretty soft defenses in the division still. So I think Cousins could throw for 5,000 yards. The receiving leader, that's going to tie into Justin Jefferson. That's kind of an easy pick there, but naturally, if Cousins is the leading passer, I think Jefferson's going to be his number one receiver. I just don't think he can be double teamed. I think Addison's really going to show out early in the year. Hawkinson just got paid. KJ Osborne's solid in the 3 slot. They've got running backs that can catch the ball. So I don't think you're going to be able to double team Jefferson every game. I think people are going to figure that out, and he's going to ball. Rushing leader, I'm going to go with Derrick Henry. I think the Titans are going to be competitive, at least in kind of a poor division. I
Not
think
afraid
they're
of him
going to be
breaking down.
not really. No, honestly, he's kind of a freak. And the first couple of years in the league, I remember he really didn't get many carries. So for a guy his age, he really doesn't have even though he's had a few years of some really heavy touches. I think he's still got something. And he's just a different human being, honestly. So I still think Derrick Henry's the guy. Honestly, if I had to have my backup guess, I'd be Nick Chubb would be my second backup there. I think Cleveland's still going to run the ball as Deshaun kind of gets into the offense, and they'll air it out here and there, but I think it's going to be predicated off the run more in Cleveland. So um, those are kind of the guys that I would lean towards. Touchdowns, not in the QB position. I think Saquon. I think that the Giants' offense is going to kind of revolve around Saquon. They've got a lot of weapons at wide receiver, but not really a dominant number one. Waller's going to catch a lot of balls, but he's never been a real huge red zone weapon. I just think Saquon, between on the ground and catching passes, is going to score a ton of TDs. So those are some guys that I'll be looking at this year. I guess my second what we call my runner up, I guess, in passing leader, I would say Justin Herbert. I think they're going to have to throw a ton this year as well. Another defense that's still up and coming. And then Tyreek Hill, it's hard to bet against him in Miami. As far as kind of a runner-up for receiving yards, I think he's going to have another great year this year. Always motivated, it seems like.
Yeah, all good picks, man. All good picks. I mean, my passing leader, I'm gonna have to go with Ty Law. I think Trevor Lawrence. I think he's gonna take it to the next level this year. They finally got him a number one receiver, and we've always seen in the past those quarterbacks take the next step when they get that number one receiver. You know, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, AJ Brown, and Hurts. So now he has Ridley. So I'm expecting a complete step there from him. And, you know, he's been a prodigy everywhere he's been. And, you know, he's in that Andrew Luck category to me where, you know, the kid is going to perform no matter what. He's going to get there. So I'm definitely expecting my passing leader to be Trevor Lawrence. Receiving leader, I think I'm going to go with Chase. I think this is going to be Jamar's year. I do think, you know, Burrow's going to go off. You know, if I wasn't going to pick Trevor Lawrence, I was going to pick Burrow. So I think Burrow's going to go off, and a part of him going off, like you said, with Kirk Cousins. You think Kirk Cousins is going to go off, Jefferson's going to go off. So I think with Burrow going off, Jamar's going to finally have that year. He's always been good, but, you know, we always know he can produce more, and I think we're finally going to see that from him, and it's going to be spectacular. Um, Rushing leader, that's a tough one for me with the way the NFL is treating the running back position. It's it's hard. It's hard for me, but I like fresh legs. I like young legs, and I don't know how the Falcons are going to use Benji. It's always a mystery, but when you have that type of talent at running back, you fucking run them like they did Shaquan, like they did, Taylor in Indy his rookie year. You use those fresh legs. That's what you have them for. So that'll be my best guess. And what else do we have here? 9 QB TD leader. I am going to have to piggyback off of you. I think it's either going to be Benji if they use him right, or Shaquan. Um, the Giants, their offense runs through him. They paid Jones, but that whole entire offense runs through Barkley, and he's going to get fed. So, and plus, I think they didn't really give him a new deal. I think they just reworked his deal, gave him some extra money, so he's still trying to get paid. So, I think when the brother's trying to get paid, like me, we perform. So that's what I'm
Amen.
thinking.
No, I like
uh,
those picks. I'd say both the guys you said at QB would be in my top five. Trevor and Burrow. I definitely can't argue with either of those. Chase is obviously a beast, and like you said, linked up with Burrow, I think he could lead it all. Yeah, I got no arguments to anything you said there. I got a lot of Bijan exposure, so I'll be hoping they utilize him a lot. I maybe they save him for next year, the next couple of years when they've got a little more pieces around him. But he's got so many skills. I hope they use him all the time.
yeah. Oh my God. Football's back.
Yeah.
All right, my man. So, all right, we are going to bring a segment back that I don't think we had since the first episode, but I just thought it would be good to bring it back with two fucking awesome commissioners on. Let's bring back Commissioner's Corner. You know, and just to refresh you guys' memory, Commissioner's Corner, it's a segment on here we do every once in a while to give some tips, some advice from a commissioner or two to how to run your leagues, make them active, make them fun, and make the motherfuckers the best fucking leagues around. So this week we're going to be talking about how to make an active league. Um, Not every commissioner is active, and not every league is active. One thing I hear a lot is, people are happy that the leagues are active. My leagues are active, and people are trading and talking in the chat and stuff like that. They're not just dead bodies. And I think a part of that is, being a commissioner, man, you got to be a content creator or something nowadays. You got to keep the people involved. Not everybody's going to be, in and reading it, but you got to give them something to talk about, something to read. Stir the pot a little bit. And you got to put yourself out there as a commissioner, I believe, and show a little bit of your personality and keep that ass talking. Keep the league moving and keep it fun. Nobody loves a dull league. You can have the best fucking team around, but the league is just dull. Nobody's trading. Nobody's talking. You know, I would take that as my fault as a commissioner. So I know me. I like to post articles. I post ratings. I post the podcast. But it keeps them talking. I definitely get a lot of DMs about how active the leagues are, there's something always there, and it's a good feeling as a commish. But I think the goal is to always put an active league out. If you put an active league, you have a good set of people who can police themselves. Man, it's something special. Something special. What do you say, commish?
Yeah, no, I give you a lot of props for the way you do run your leagues. I love all the content you're putting out there, the rankings and the articles and stuff. That's something I give you a lot of credit for. It's keeps people peeking in there even when there's not a lot going on. I think the number one thing having an active league is just having great league mates. It's kind of a simplistic thing to say, but uh, kind of built a network over the years, and there's a lot of guys I know that are going to be in there trying to trade a lot. They're just going to be active. Leagues are all different. I mean, I'm in a lot of leagues. I commission a lot of leagues. Some of them aren't super heavy on the chat, but the actual activity is high. Some are a little less active in trades, but there's some weird shit talking that goes on. So
I
the
like
league that
those leagues.
oh yeah, no, the league that you're reading into, there's just some real off the wall shit that goes on there between a couple of the brothers and one of my buddies that I used to work with, and just some goofy ass banter. I don't want to get too X-rated or anything, but some people get into some freaky shit in the chat, and it makes things entertaining, anyways. When there's no football going on. Otherwise, I like to just be real tight on my details. I like to have my bylaws set from the start so people know exactly what they're getting into. There's not gray areas for people to create issues that don't need to be there. Everything is written down. Issues are occasionally going to come up that we don't know an easy answer for, but then,
You
hey,
have
you
them
take the
covered in the
pulse.
bylaws. You
Yeah,
already have them covered, right?
it's almost always covered. And if it's not covered, that's when, you got to be willing to reach out to your league, get the general pulse. I mean, if I have a decision in my brain and 90% of the league hates it, I should probably go another direction.
Mhm.
So I think just got to be flexible in those few cases that arise when weird shit does happen. Somebody hits the wrong button and doesn't notice it for 24 hours. Like shit comes up that you just got to be reasonable and try to make as many people happy as possible, even though it's. And then the second part of that is knowing you can't make everybody happy and doing what's best for the league when you need to.
Being a leader.
Yeah, it is a leadership thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A thankless job. Being a commissioner is a thankless job.
Yeah, yeah, it absolutely is. And sometimes you got to kick out friends if they don't pay. Sometimes you gotta, people don't do what they're supposed to do. You gotta let them know it's not a glamorous gig all the time. But I mean, I've been making up games and trying to start shit like this since I was a little kid. So I like keeping it tight and keeping a good group, and it's worth the effort for me. And it usually keeps the leagues. I like I said, I think people tune out when issues pop up, and they get irritated at how things happen, and they kind of tune out that league too. So just keeping everybody semi copacetic and all that. So, but it's all about the people. You just got to get good people that want to check into their app. You can't really force that. There's always going to be a couple people in a couple of your leagues that check in for the rookie draft, and then they check in to set their lineups, and they pay their fees. You can't really say anything because they do everything that they're supposed to do in the bylaws, but that's kind of it. The league always needs a couple of those people to get by too, it seems like. But uh, I got some great leagues, so I feel pretty blessed there. Not too many slow pokes. So,
Man, I like what you said about, you got to vet them people out, man. And different leagues have different personalities. Like you said, you got a shit talking league, some cool leagues. Like, I love how each one of my leagues have a different personality. And you vetted them out real good. But, I feel like the Real House Husbands of fantasy football, it's real business like. Hell, it's 500 bones, bro. So, yeah, they like real
yeah,
business
that'll
like.
do it. Yeah.
I feel like, a couple other leagues like winner take all, or, you ain't first, you last. There's some good shit talking going on in there. It's just the personalities of the league. So yeah, I love it all, man. I know your leagues go a lot deeper, a lot longer back than mine. So I can only imagine the relationships that's been bonded over the years, from that, the friendships from that. Yeah. I've made a lot of business, how do you say, trades in fantasy football, but also got some business done on the side as far as like in a couple of industries I used to work in with people with
Sure.
fantasy football. Fantasy football has helped me close some deals in my lifetime, some big ones. So
I believe it. Yeah. That's awesome.
I love it. I love it. All right.
Uh,
So I think everybody loves the betting segments that we do, but that's usually, Dustin and Rim. We had Casey on last time. Those guys are betting heads. But thankfully, we still are going to have the betting section, everybody, the betting segment. Casey sent me his bets of the week. So,
nice.
and if you don't know Casey,
Okay.
Casey is Casey Thomas. He was our guest last time. So, first and foremost, he likes what? Oh, he threw college in there. Okay, so these are his bets for the week. He likes Washington State with the spread, money line +6 and +200. He likes Colorado money line -150. Stop there. So you're in Colorado. I used to live in Colorado. Man, what's going on out there with Coach Prime?
I watched. I didn't watch the whole game, but I watched a good chunk of it. Yeah, that was exciting.
Boys
There's.
look good.
It's just a buzz, and it was hard to believe that it was going to go that well to start. I mean, 10 players returning, I think, from last year's team. And last year's team was terrible, of course, but you bring in that many new bodies on a college football team and expect to compete with the team that was in the national championship last year. And a lot of those guys were coming from D2 schools and HBCU schools. I mean, absolutely incredible. Travis Hunter, I mean, he's what is he, young mini Dion, and he's not even a Sanders. I mean, playing
Oh,
it was 80% of the snaps on offense and defense combined. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. 11 catches, playing most of the defensive snaps, a pick. This dude's ridiculous. Shador Sanders is a legit prospect. I think at least it
I
looks like
have
it
been
after one game.
trying to tell everybody or anybody who could listen for over a year now about Shador Sanders. I have been saying for the longest. I've been watching him since he's been at Trinity, and he throws the prettiest deep ball, the prettiest deep ball. Oh, but yeah, I definitely think that Shador is a first round prospect. I've been saying it for a long time. And I think if he continues, you have to temper expectations a little bit. But I've seen a lot of him in the past. But if he continues, I definitely think that he will be two behind Caleb Williams. And Drake May will be three as far as prospects goes. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead and tell us about that
No,
buzz out there in Colorado.
no, you're good. That's that doesn't sound crazy to me actually after watching him play. We'll see. It's going to be a lot more fun to watch them after that performance. I mean, I would have been happy to see him just compete for 3 quarters, honestly. So
Looks
that
like
was
a
incredible. So,
he looks like a young Tom Brady in his prime. Like you could tell Brady works with him. That's literally what it looks like. And the thing is, that wasn't just that game. That's literally how he looks almost every game from like college. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm excited to see them play against Nebraska. I do think it's going to be a different game flow because Nebraska's going to run that ball. They got a kid back there that's like Anthony Richardson, kind of fucking sucks throwing the ball, but he can run that ball. He's athletic, and I think that they're going to shove the ball down, Colorado's throat, and they're going to have to respond. But Nebraska can't hang out with Colorado on the offensive side of the ball, so we shall see how that goes. I think it's going to be a different game flow, so I don't think everybody should just expect Colorado to win the game comfortably, with all the hype they have going on. So I'll be interested in that one. All right, let's keep these bets going. He has Casey has Eastern Michigan spread plus 21, Texas spread plus 7, Iowa State spread plus 4, Georgia State money line minus 150, and he has the Giant spread money line plus 150 and plus 3.5. Okay, so obviously we're just bringing you guys the bets. Go at KC if you want to get more information on those bets, and we'll bring the response next week. All right. So, all right. So next segment we will do start 'em and sit 'em. So, with week one coming up, or we are in week one. Just to give me some starters and sit 'ems. Who you got?
right. I'll start with one of my favorite wide receivers, kind of a low key guy. I think he's going to be a wide receiver one for his team. Nico Collins for Houston. I think CJ Stroud needs a easy wide receiver one target, so he's I think the safest one to pick this week. So I'm kind of betting on him as kind of a sleeper start. I really like James Cook too. I think James Cook's going to get a lot more action in the Buffalo offense. It's a high-powered offense. I think they're going to start throwing the ball to the running backs more, and I think James Cook is the one that's going to get that action. Damian Harris might get a little bit of the goal line stuff, and of course Josh Allen's there, but I still think James Cook is going to be featured a little bit more in this offense, running the ball and out of the backfield. So I like James Cook a lot. Love the Washington backfield in general. I would start either Brian Robinson or Antonio Gibson this week against Arizona. Just a soft matchup, and I think they're going to be just running the ball down their throat. Brandon Ayuk is a guy I really like this week. Pittsburgh plays a lot of man defense, and it seems when San Francisco faces man defense, Ayuk is the guy that eats a little bit more often, whereas when they face more zone, it seems like it's a little more Debo. So I really like Ayuk this week against Pittsburgh. A couple of IDP guys I'll throw in there that I like a lot. Antoine Winfield coming back to Minnesota where his dad played. He's already spoken in the media about being super pumped up for this game. He's already one of my favorite DBs. I just think that he's got the chance to make some plays. And then Ernest Jones for the Rams. They're playing the Seahawks this week. I don't think that they're probably going to compete. They've got no Cooper Kupp. Really, they have nobody except for Aaron Donald and Ernest Jones on that defense. So I think Seattle's going to pound the ball, and I think Ernest Jones is going to rack up tackles. So I think he's a kind of a sleeper stud for week one in the IDP department. Flip side to that, I would definitely start the Seattle running backs. It sounds like Kenneth Walker might be questionable now all of a sudden. I would have started both of them. I think I'm leaning towards now, leaning heavy on Zach Charbonnet if I have him, if Walker's a little bit banged up. Some guys that I don't want to start this week, I am staying away from the Jets backfield. I love Breece Hall. I think Dalvin still could be a weapon if Breece isn't a go, but there's a good chance that they just mix both those guys in with Michael Carter, with Abanikanda. Who knows? I don't want to do anything in that backfield until I find out who's healthy and a little bit more what the share is. Two wide receivers that I don't want to start this week because they've been questionable, and even if they are cleared, I'm a little nervous. Are Jerry Jeudy and Hollywood Brown? I think they've both been banged up a little. Well, Hollywood's injury was a little bit more recent, so that makes me nervous. And with Arizona being not really looking to compete this year, I don't think they're going to push him out there if he's questionable. He's never really been the type to push himself too hard, I don't think, when he's questionable. And then Jeudy, I don't think they're going to push him back either. And he's been it's been a stretch for him to even play. It seems like if he does, I don't think he's going to get that many snaps. Greg Dulcich is another guy in Denver I don't want to start yet. There's Adam Troutman hype with Sean Payton is kind of real. It looks like he was getting more of the first team snaps, so I want to stay away from Dulcich for a little while. This has got a little bit of hindsight because I did watch the first half of the Chiefs game, but Kadarius Toney I kind of wanted to stay away from. Just not having a lot of practice reps with the injury, and one of the last plays.
You can clearly tell his play. He's rusty, and yeah, I was just before you came on screen, I was screaming at the television at Tony. So everybody knows I got Tony everywhere. So
yeah. No, right before I paused the game, it was the interception off of his hands, the pick six there. So yeah, not great, but it is what it is. He's still a weapon, but we'll see. I guess the only other guy, Brock Purdy, I guess I'm a little bit nervous to start this week. I think Pittsburgh's defense is going to be improved, and I think they're just going to dink and dunk, and he's got a lot of weapons, but I don't know. That might just be a little bit of a defensive struggle, I guess. So I kind of want to wait and see if he's back to 100% first. So what you got, Atik?
Yeah, yours go deep. Those are good takes. I like the Antoine Winfield take going back to his dad's hometown.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. So Raheem Morris, I say start him. Start him.
Mostert?
Yeah, Raheem Mostert. Sorry, dyslexia. My bad.
No, you're good. That's a coaching thing.
Number 12. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I know the backfield might be a little muddy there, but I just see him coming out on top. It's more so of a gut feeling. I don't have the stats for you on that one, but I kind of see him leading the backfield. Have you heard anything about the Jeff Wilson injury?
He's on IR for 4 games, I think. So I haven't heard any more about details, but I think Mostert's definitely going to lead the backfield to start. I think that's a great call.
Yeah. Javonte Williams for Denver. I don't trust Samarji, and at the same time, you got to kill it back there. At the same time, if he's healthy, throw him in there. I think Sean Payton's going to ride him, and I go Javonte Williams, even though I play against him a lot. I say go with him, and I say start Geno Smith. I believe they're playing the Rams, and I just don't know how that Rams defense is going to look right now. But a few stats. I think Smith finished last season with 314.19 fantasy points, ranked 5th. The Seahawks are going against the only quarterback with a perfect matchup this week, actually. So I think Geno has a good matchup set. And then I know he faced the Rams twice last year. I believe he gained 580 passing yards and 54 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. So he usually shows out pretty good against the Rams is what I'm getting to. At the same time, you don't know what to expect from the Rams defense. I heard they were a big disappointment in camp. So definitely starting Geno Smith. For my situms, um, I'm going to sit the entire Indy backfield. We have no clue how that's going to play out. That is just a situation that I want to stay away from, including Anthony Richardson too. Um, I know he's the it guy right now, but at the same time, I have no fucking clue how the kid is going to play. I have I don't know what they're going to do with him, so I'm a little afraid of that. And I just think that rookie quarterbacks they need a good backfield. He needed Jonathan Taylor, um, and he doesn't have him. So I just don't have the confidence in his arm that he get the job done. He's going to be the only one back there. They know he's not going to throw the ball. They're eventually going to start stacking the box, and they're going to make him beat them with his legs. And we'll see if he can do that. I don't. I know he's got to compare to Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson is you know, a top tier athlete. You don't go comparing everybody, you know, quick twitch moves to Lamar Jackson. He's one of the twitchiest, most elusive people out there. And I know Anthony Richardson could run that ball, but I don't know if he's that twitchy.
They're
Um,
different players for sure.
exactly. And I'm gonna sit, White, the running back down in Tampa Bay. I don't. I know everybody's high on him. He's an easy pick for if you're going zero running back, but I don't know how the offense is gonna look. You know, it's Baker fucking Mayfield. No offense. If I need somebody to plant a flag for me, I got him. But I just don't know what you're going to get on the field from Baker or that offense, and it just makes me not trust White one bit. And I know I definitely stayed away from him. So, yeah, those are my starters and situms. Your takes are obviously better than mine because you are deep, brother. All
No,
right.
I like your takes. That's fun.
No, no, no. I need to hear more about your waiver wire pickups for week one.
Yeah, I got a few guys I'm definitely looking at. The first one I'll start at quarterback, and this one kind of breaks my heart, but Josh Dobbs is still out there in some leagues, and it sounds like he's the starter week one. The reason it breaks my heart is I drafted Clayton Tune in every league, so I was really hoping he was going to get that start and just increase his value. He still might if Dobbs doesn't do it. They're not going to be very good this year, but Josh Dobbs is going to be a starting quarterback, and he's still on waivers in some leagues, so definitely want to grab him. There's definitely a few running backs that are still out there in some leagues. Sean Tucker was a guy that I loved in Devi. I loved watching him at Syracuse. That heart condition scared me off everywhere. I think it scared a lot of people off. So he's still out there on waivers in some places. Just got him in one league. Salvin Ahmed, I really like him too. That Miami backfield is a little uncertain, I think. I do agree that Mostert's going to be the guy, but I think Ahmed's got a chance to be a real solid number two. So he's still out there on waivers in some places. Deion Jackson from Indianapolis I've still seen him on waivers in some places. He's probably going to be the starter there, even though I low key like Evan Hull better. Um, Wide receivers. Oh no, actually, I do want to say Ty Chandler as well for Minnesota. Clear backup, it looks like to Madison, and shockingly, he's still available in a few leagues too. I've seen so. Let's see. Wide receiver, I only got one guy, and it's Van Jefferson, who my dumbass dropped in a league or two. Uh, but with Cooper Cup out and them probably trailing, he's going to be catching some balls. Uh, Tight end wise, I've got one guy. I'd say Logan Thomas for Washington. They have Terry McLaurin and Dotson catching the ball. I think McLaurin is fully healthy after the injury, but Logan Thomas I think is definitely a threat as well. And then my defensive guy, I actually picked up in a couple of leagues in IDP, Jermaine Pratt from the Bengals. He's going to be one of their inside linebacker choices, kind of low key uh, sleeper linebacker guy that's still out there. I think he should score well. So I think that's pretty much all I got. I guess I made a note of Zach Moss too, because I know a lot of people dropped him after that injury, and it looks like he's going to be coming back soon. And like you said, there's a lot of uncertainty there. So why not pick him up off waivers at least? You got anybody you'd like to add to that?
I know people are going to laugh at me, but I'm going to say pick up Noah Gray. I know he's playing tonight, but the only reason I say that is usually a bone bruise takes about a month or two to heal. And now in football language, that's maybe about 2 or 3 weeks. But in deeper leagues, I still think that's a good stash to have. And Kelsey's not going to be there forever. So if he can find a way to show something, I like him there. But as far as my other pickups, you pretty much nailed it on the fucking head for me. I love it. I love it. Now, I want to get to the meat and bones of the podcast, the reviews, but I just have to say something. Tony can suck a fucking dick right now. Anyway, sorry. Let's get to.
He's on my girlfriend was drafted in our work league, and I kind of refused to help her at the moment when she was on the clock because I was sitting next to other people and there's money involved. And then she got Tony auto drafted, and then I actually told her to put him in the lineup tonight. So I don't think she's real happy with me right now on that one. So
yeah, I know we're playing, and I threw him in my lineup because Christian Watson, another did not practice. So I'd rather have. It's trending towards him not playing, so I took him out and swapped Tony in, thinking that Kelsey's going to be out. So, but fuck me, Tony. Fuck you. Anyways, all right. So we're going to start reviewing these leagues. Let's go ahead and jump into what's this called? League of Lunatics.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, so this is Justin's league. You all know it's DaChronic. We're going to review you guys here. So welcome, League of Lunatics, you fucking crazy mannequins. So degenerates. So right off the bat, processing errors. That's your best fucking team in there. We got Jalen Hurts at the quarterback, Travis Etienne, J.K. Dobbins, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, George Kittle. We have Ridley in the flex, Saquon Barkley in the flex, and Josh Allen in the super flex. That is the strongest starting lineup in your league. And not only that, I also think he has the best bench in your league as well. He has Jonathan Taylor on the bench, Khalil Herbert. He has Marquise Brown, DJ Chark, Jared Judy, a receiver, Traylon Burks, Evan Ingram, as well as Juwan Johnson, which I'm very high on. Oh, and JSN. I looked around this league, and it's a very, very tight league. So everything's picked off the bone around here. So the benches aren't that deep, and that's a good thing. That shows a good league. But I love his bench and his starting lineup. I think it's his league to lose. Next, I'm gonna have to roll with the Jeffersons.
I'm sorry. Can I stop you real quick, buddy?
Yep.
I just wanted to let you know we actually had a co-champion situation last year. So actually, I miss processing errors was our co-champion with I hate username. So sorry, I'm trying to get my recording here. Yeah, so that was actually you picked our two co-champions. So
Gotcha.
well thought. So
okay, co-champions. How did they end up being co-champions?
Well, it was kind of that the DeMar Hamlin debacle last year.
Ah.
We ended up basically with one or two players left to go. I think it was a little bit undetermined who would actually win. The two guys are actually friends. They agreed basically to call I hate usernames champion. He had a better shot at the championship, but it was not exactly determined, we could say.
Gotcha. Everybody handled that DeMar Hamlin situation differently last year. But yeah, Jefferson's, I like his squad. Justin Jefferson, Najee Harris, Kenneth Walker. You got Jets, you got JJ at wide receiver, you got AJ Brown, you got Pat from the Steelers, you got Rashad White, which I'm not big on him, and you got Rashad Penny and Tua. I don't like your flexes, as your flex positions are not as strong as processing errors, and neither is your bench. But I think your starting lineup. I'm not a person that's big on depth. Everybody knows that. I like to get the horses, but I do think your starting lineup has the horses to get you through the season. Now, a couple injuries that could stop that, but hey, you're a co-champion from last year, so I guess it worked out for you well last year. So, and I'm gonna say runner up here is what's this guy? Wet Dreams. Oh, sorry, Wet Dream Team. Yeah, I like his squad. Justin Herbert, McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Mike Evans, Stephon Diggs, Mark Andrews, Raheem Morris, DeAndre Hopkins, and Joe Burrow in the Superflex. That's a strong starting lineup, but at the same time, it is rather old. This is dynasty. I don't like running backs over the age of 25. So, I'm Mark Kelly when it comes to that. So, you're gonna start aging at the teeth with McCaffrey soon. Josh Jacobs, he's not as old, but they put a lot of between Alabama and all the carries that the Raiders put on him. He has a lot of touches, a lot of tackles on that body. So I'll be interested to see how that plays out. Mike Evans, Stephon Diggs, getting a little longer in the tooth there. And, you got DeAndre Hopkins down here. So it'll get you through this year, but you definitely have to make some moves. And I'm going to do a honorable mention here is usually we do a usual honorary circle jerk around here. So I guess I got to circle jerk you off with two. This is a really good rebuild that you have going on here.
Thank
Um,
you.
what's your title name? Draft Whore. Team Draft Whore. I like that. But it looks like you're blowing it up and doing a rebuild. But Jesus, I don't know how you pulled this off. Anthony Richardson, I am afraid of him, but I know why everybody loves him. Uh, Benji, you got the Johnson kid out of Chicago, Jordan Addison, Dotson out of Washington, Garrett Wilson, Zay Flowers, and Deshaun Watson in your bench. I mean, Deshaun Watson on your superflex. And then on your bench, you have CJ Stroud, Hendon Hooker, um, Kendre Miller. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. You got Mitchie, Jamison Williams. Yeah, yeah, that's a pretty nice rebuild. You got a lot of young talent. How'd you pull that off?
Uh, just tore it all down. If you got to mention my picks though. Did you see all those 24 picks there?
Oh, Jesus.
524
One,
first there.
2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, that is a thing of fucking beauty. And that's going to be one of the best draft classes in quite some time. So, yeah,
No,
that's a
that's a
thing of fucking
strategy.
beauty.
Just my strategy in a couple of these leagues that I've had going on for a few years, because this one I believe we started in 2019. I was a playoff team for the first couple of years, but I think I got second maybe one year, maybe third one year, but I was right on the margin. So I just kind of decided at one point I didn't quite have enough juice to win it, but I still had enough assets. I made a few good trades. I know I drafted Jalen Hurts in the third round of our rookie draft, I think. So, I was able to flip him for a couple of firsts. I had 6 firsts going into this draft this year. I just traded George Pickens for another 25 first. So I've been kind of just flipping capital forward, just keeping a lot of draft picks. And this year's going to be interesting. Well, I'm hoping that I believe a couple of my firsts are still lottery picks, at least 2 or 3 of them. So there's a chance I could walk out of the next year's draft with Caleb, Marvin Harrison, and Brock Bowers if things shake out right, or something like that. Maybe Shadur if that keeps going the way we're going there. So no, I'm definitely excited for this team. And I did also want to mention just to give a shout out to Wet Dream Team. He was our champ 2 years ago too. So you got a good eye for the good teams apparently. So
Cool beans. Okay, cool. What's the buy-in for that league?
it's $200. So it's the most expensive one I commish. So and one of the older ones. So we actually had an auction draft to start this one off too. So it was pretty wild from the start. We actually rented a condo at my old workplace, and everybody got together. Dirk Diggler passed out in the back room for the second half of his draft, as he was known to do back in those days. So interesting league and a good time. So
So, I appreciate you letting me stick my head in the door and
absolutely.
take a look around. And you guys look like some fucking lunatics with these names in here. Zach Wilson's mom.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate terrorists. Yeah, you guys are funny. All right, cool beans, cool beans. All right. I think now I'm hand it over to you. I think you're gonna review one of my leagues, winner takes all.
Yeah, no, this is a fun one to look over. I'm in leagues with probably at least half to two-thirds of these guys. So it's fun to see them in a different setting. And I like the scoring looks interesting. A lot of big bonuses. The IDP settings make it look like it's really balanced because you look at the IDP scoring and the offensive scoring, it all looks pretty even. So that kind of enabled me to. I kind of like to crunch some numbers every now and again. I kind of looked over everybody's team, gave their a position grade for each position, and then kind of mashed all that together to get like a composite number so I could get an idea of how much I liked each team. So got a weird little system, but then I kind of tried to look at their draft capital too, obviously, just to kind of factor that all together and place everybody where they should be. So I guess just a couple of honorable mentions because they're obviously moving for the future. Petey Boy and CK Tomps built up a lot of draft capital, and I like their young prospects. I like the way that they're building their squads. Obviously, not trying to win now, but have some nice draft capital, and I think that they're primed well for the future. I really like CK's quarterback room. Petey Boy, I hated his quarterback room, but I love his wide receiver room, and he had a ton of picks too. So both of those guys are going to have very different builds moving forward, but some young, fun teams to watch moving forward, I think. As far as my favorite teams, I will start with my third favorite. What the hell? Cricket something Graybush? Yeah, I'm not in any leagues with this guy, but he sounds like an interesting sort.
Very
Just a
much
really,
is.
what's that?
I said he very much is. He dragged me in one of his leagues. Those are some interesting characters. I love different personalities of these leagues. But go ahead, my bad.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I like the context. No, he had a really well-rounded team, I think. The only position group that I thought was a little bit lacking was linebacker, and it's usually not that hard to find some linebackers to score you points. So I really like his team overall. My favorite parts of his teams, his wide receiver and tight end rooms, I thought were really, really good. I liked his defensive backs, even though they don't necessarily mean as much as some positions. His quarterbacks are good. He only had two quarterbacks, though. I think that was kind of the one reason why he was an easy third place and not higher. I always get a little bit nervous. Yeah, I know it's winner take all, but one injury in a super flex, and you only have two quarterbacks, and it kind of turns into a long season, or you end up having to trade some draft capital away. It looked like he traded a little bit of capital away to move forward, but I like his team a lot for sure. Number two, a guy we're in real little bit of draft capital too to improve. But nice quarterback room, really nice wide receiver room. His defensive linemen are absolutely ridiculous. That was where I think the more I've been looking into IDP scoring lately, defensive line is one of those places I think you can gain an advantage because the studs are a little fewer and far between. So he's got Nick Bosa and Max Crosby in his starting lineup. So I mean, right there, he's got a bit of an advantage. Um, let's see, just a well-rounded team. I think his running back room, I rated a B minus, but I think running backs are probably in my eyes in dynasty, if you're going to have one weak spot, running back's the best one to do it. They're probably the least valuable and the easiest to just kind of scrape off the bottom of the barrel if you absolutely need to. So I like Lou Moon squad a lot. And my favorite actually was Adam Foster. Uh, the only real weakness I saw on his team was also his linebackers, but I think that's a place you can scrape together production. Let me get into his team a little bit more here. His quarterback room was great. He's got Justin Herbert, Geno Smith, Mac Jones, Derek Carr. So he's got top end talent and depth. So love his quarterbacks. Running backs, he's got Bijan, Etienne. That's a great top end. I think he also has and Najee. So he didn't have a lot of depth at running back, but those three are really great high end running backs. Wide receiver room I thought was great. Waddle at the top, some nice veterans in Keenan Allen, Mike Evans. He's got Brandon Ayuk, Gabe Davis, Hollywood Brown. So nice wide receiver room. Tight end room, great. He's got Kelsey, and even with Kelsey out, he has Pat Fryermuth starting this week. So tight end room is about as solid as you could possibly ask for. I gave that an A plus. I mean, Kelsey on his own is almost an A plus, but with Fryermuth backing him up, that's amazing. Defensive line is solid. Gave it a B plus. He's definitely got enough talent to go around there. Same with his DBs, and he moved a little bit of draft capital. I don't think he has his first next year, but no, he doesn't have most of his picks next year. But he didn't dip into his 25 class. Has a few late picks next year, so that was my favorite team out of the whole group. I would say it's definitely a fun league. A lot of fun builds. Um, I liked your team. I got to give you a little bit of shit here, just because. I mean, why shouldn't I?
Bring it on.
What's up with the empty taxi squad and like 8 empty bench spots? Isn't there anybody you want to take a flyer on? I gotta ask.
Don't you see my team in your league where
Yeah,
you have to force me to put players on my bench? I've
I know.
always been like this in fantasy football, and people always ask me, but I like the meat and bones, man. And I like who I like, and
All
it
right,
usually works out for me. But
all right.
yeah,
Just had to give you a little shit about it. A little different philosophy, but that's all good. It's fun to see the different
no, no,
minds.
no, no. I like I like your picks. Lou Moon, he he's a sneaky motherfucker. I like his team. He built a sneaky defensive team. I like his offense. I do like Adam Foster's team. He blocked me, so I don't know if you can hear this or not.
Oh no.
You're soft as Charmin, but I like your team. Your team is a lot harder than you.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I blocked you. How did you get blocked? You're not a you don't seem like the blockable type.
Oh, I'll
You don't
always
have to
want
get into it
smoke.
if you don't.
I'm all about peace, love, and happiness, but I'm also from the hood. I'm always about to smoke. So anyway, but good squad, Adam, good squad.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I have, man. That's what I have, Justin. It's been a pleasure. I really enjoy learning more about the fantasy football minds of these degenerates like me, like-minded people, and man, I just impressed at how deep it goes every single time. So yeah, learned a lot from you as usual, Justin. I want to thank you for being on, and I'm gonna hold you to getting that drink when I'm out there in Colorado, my man.
Well, I don't drink anymore, but we got some good NA cocktails in my house, and I will definitely bring that smoke, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I could do that too. I could do that too.
Yes, sir.
All right, my man. All right. Well, I appreciate you. I'm gonna stop the recording now, and then